King of the road, come follow me.
For nothing in this world is free.
For nothing in this world is free.
A trooper's life was made for me.
A trooper's life was made for me.
Late to bed, early to rise.
Late to bed, early to rise.
The sun was shining in my eyes.
The sun was shining in my eyes.
Count cadence.
1,
State trooper.
2,
Ready, do your best.
3,
Before you find yourself
4,
in the leading press.
1,
Hit,
2,
hit,
3,
hit.
4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We like it here. We love it here. We finally found a home.
A what?
A home.
A what?
A home. A home away from home.
Detail. Home. Now, right. Face.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand and remain standing for the advancement of the colors, the singing of the national anthem, and the invocation by Chaplain Coffey. Honor guard, advance the colors. Probationary Trooper Azaria Keith will now sing our national anthem.
Honor guard, officers, present, march.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Father Daniel Coffey, our state police chaplain, will now give the invocation. Father Coffey.
Thank you, sir. I invite you to pray. Almighty God, our Creator and Redeemer, on this beautiful December evening as we gather for this particularly special event, the graduation and appointment of this Academy class of the Indiana State Police, we pause to recognize your blessings of good government, peace, and security within our society and our state. We honor those from within our families, friends, and next-door neighbors, sons and daughters, brothers and sisters, moms and dads, who in their law enforcement profession stand on the front lines of peril and distress to ensure our rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for all people within our society. We especially note these outstanding men and women who now present themselves to receive official appointment as Indiana State Police troopers this evening. We publicly thank them for their willingness to enter our emergencies in order to resolve the crises and render support, service, and criminal apprehension when indicated. We therefore beseech thy blessings upon this ceremony and upon these careers. Grant favor and success to the noble intentions of their hearts, the laudable efforts of their minds, and the honorable work of their hands. Holy God, holy mighty, holy immortal, have mercy upon us and hear our prayer. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Superintendent Carter, Justice Goff, Executive Director Horty, Indiana State Police Board members, members of the primary staff, State Police Department members both active and retired, survivor families, Ohio Highway Patrol and Pennsylvania State Police officers, family and friends. I am Sergeant Harless, the Protocol Officer for the Indiana State Police, and on behalf of Superintendent Carter, the primary staff, the training division, the Recruit Academy staff, and the rest of the Indiana State Police family, we want to welcome you to the 83rd Indiana State Police Recruit Academy graduation. I would now like to invite Lieutenant Tom Hannon, the Recruit Academy Commander, to describe for us what this recruit class has accomplished to graduate and become Indiana State Police probationary troopers. He will then present the 83rd class to the superintendent. Lieutenant Hannon.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are here tonight to recognize and honor 11 enthusiastic individuals, 10 men and 1 woman, who are about to embark on careers as Indiana State Police troopers. This fine group of recruits started their journey on January 10th, 2022, Blue Sunday as we call it, and they are the final product of 23 weeks of intense training and education. This process requires hard work, dedication, and commitment second to none. Their training and education covers a broad range of knowledge, skills, and attributes. Each component of this training was essential in preparing them for the responsibilities that they are about to assume. Their capabilities have been developed and fine-tuned to enable them to make critical decisions in an ever-evolving and diverse circumstances and constantly changing and evolving environments. The motto of the Indiana State Police Recruit Academy is excellence through discipline. The Recruit Academy staff, numerous instructors, have given vast amounts of time, effort, and talent to transform these 11 individuals into the graduating members of the 83rd Recruit Academy. They have instilled in them a passion to serve the citizens of Indiana to the best of their abilities as troopers with the Indiana State Police. 100% effort, 100% of the time is another motto that we have. The journey these recruits undertook while in the academy was not that different from other academies in the past years. The class faced several of the same challenges and are embedded into them the traditions and our core values of the Indiana State Police Department. Like every academy class, they received an enormous amount of training. The class received 1,155 hours of total training to include online training, classroom instruction, hands-on psychomotor skills, and scenario-based training. In order to graduate, each recruit had to successfully complete 5 physical assessments set forth by the Indiana Law Enforcement Training Board and the Indiana State Police Department. Their diligence, perseverance, and most importantly, their teamwork allowed them to meet and in most cases surpass the academic and physical standards of excellence that was expected of them. Family and friends, you should be very proud of their accomplishments. With that being said, Superintendent Carter, the 83rd Indiana State Police Recruit Academy, presents to you 11 probationary troopers ready for appointment.
Gentlemen, take seats.
It is now my distinct honor and pleasure to introduce the dignitaries present at this evening's graduation ceremony and ask that they stand to be recognized. Superintendent Douglas Carter, the 20th Superintendent of the Indiana State Police. Justice Christopher Goff, the 110th Justice of the Indiana Supreme Court. Executive Director Tim Horty, the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy Director. Colonel Mark French, Chief of Staff. Lieutenant Colonel Matthew Bilkey, Assistant Chief of Staff Operations. Lieutenant Colonel Kevin Hobson, Assistant Chief of Staff Investigations. Major Robert Simpson, Assistant Chief of Staff Communications and Information Systems. Major Dana Harshman, Commander, Indiana State Police Training Division. Lieutenant Tom Hannon, Commander, Indiana State Police Recruit Academy, and Father Daniel Coffey, Chaplain, Indiana State Police. And now please join me in welcoming the 20th Superintendent of the Indiana State Police, Superintendent Douglas G. Carter.
I'm twisting it up a little bit this year from what I've done in the past, and historically I've talked to the class, but I've already talked to you. So part of this will have to do with you, but most of it will have to do with your family and friends that are here today. But to the family and friends and the members of the ISP, it's so awesome for me to be able to see so many uniforms in the back from all over the state coming to welcome not only these recruits and these young troopers, but also their families, and I'm most grateful. To the State Police Board, we finally have a full board, and I'd like for you to at least raise your hand when I call your name. Jimmy Olszewski, David Graves, Tom Weiss, J.J. Ivory, and Marilyn Culler. Thank you very, very much. Certainly, as Sergeant Harless said, Justice Christopher Goff, he's a regular with us. And he's never, ever tells us no, and he always does the very, very best that he can and always makes himself available to us. So I'm most grateful. And certainly to my wife, Carolyn, and daughter, Leanne, that are sitting here in the front row. We have 2 troopers from the great state of Ohio and 1 from the great state of Pennsylvania. Thank you for making the trek. You know, Tommy Hannon stands up here every single year and talks about what these recruits go through. But it's not lost on me or anybody sitting on this stage or anybody in this auditorium in this most beautiful place tonight that doesn't understand the magnitude of what Tommy Hannon does with these recruits. With almost 38 years as an Indiana State Trooper, he's got the energy of his first year. And I am most grateful to Lieutenant Hannon, to Captain Dennison, to Major Harshman, Brent Cox. The list can just go on and on. Nicole Sheeks, we're going to talk about that in a minute. Tyler, Trent, Sam, thank you very, very much. Most grateful. Somebody that's really important to the training staff that always sits in the back and doesn't get a lot of notification or glory is Troy Torrance. Troy is sitting in the back. I see him. It's where he sits most times with a show of hands. He's the guy that's responsible for transforming them into what they are today. I think you probably heard them talk about Troy and what he's done to them physically, but he's done it with them. And he's a guy that changes the world, but he sits off to the side and doesn't ask for any of those accolades. The civilian staff of the ISP, none of this happens without our professional civilian staffs. And it'd be lost on me that if I didn't at least recognize what they do. To the family, not all of you were at Family Day that week 1. Many were. And I told you it would be a beautiful night. I told you, and I see a nodding head. It makes me really happy. Because you all looked lost. But you didn't look near as lost as they did. And I still remember that auditorium when they leave and we get to just have those conversations with one another and all the concern you had for them and about them and your maybe a little dislike for me and the way we're going to treat them and we're going to yell and we're going to scream at them, we're going to do all these things. But I hope now that you look back, you realize and understand the why. I hope that you understand the why. They've all made it through. Hundreds started, 22 began the academy, and now 11 have graduated. And while it's our smallest class in our history, every one of them matters as much to me, to us, and to our citizens as if we would graduate a class of 80. I am eternally grateful for the sacrifices and commitment that they made, but most importantly, what you all have done over this period of time. Because I know the house needs to continue to operate. A lot needs to happen and things always break. And you can't get a hold of them and they're not going to be there to help. Thank you for the support. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the support. I can tell you that as a guy that's approaching my 40th year in this business, without the support of my family, I would be a miserable failure. So thank you very much for what you've done. But now it really just begins. Now it really just begins. I suspect you've seen transformational change. Every one of them better be making their beds at home. The way they think, the way they look, the way they talk, the way they act, the way they interact with other people. The things that I'm sure you've seen change. That all comes through discipline. And as I see them, every class that graduates in this most beautiful place, as they come down the hallway, it reaffirms my belief that discipline matters. It's important in every aspect of our lives. It's certainly important in this profession. Please help along the way. Please help along the way. Sometimes it's going to seem like they care more about the job than they do the other things in their life, but that's just simply not true. But remember, they're going to see things that most people don't, participate in things that people can't fathom. You see, death, dying, destruction, hurt, pain, and sorrow are not normal. But they're going to become normal to them. And I worry about that all the time. All the time. The recruits don't expect your families to understand. Families don't turn them off when you can't figure out what they're doing. And I think you'll know what I mean in the coming months. It's a wonderful profession. And I don't mean to be the negative Nelly here when it comes to talking about the negativity that they're going to participate and see. You see, they stepped up and they've stepped out, as have you, at a time when so many people don't want to enter this profession. And people say to me, how can you recruit and how can you encourage people to come into this profession when we're under constant scrutiny? No matter what we do, we're wrong. And people hate you. But see, the majority of people don't hate us. The majority of people support us. And I say that there's never been a better time than to enter this profession, as my own daughter has, or to become an Indiana State Trooper, than right now. Than right now. But here's the deal. My generation's handed them a very difficult difficult challenge that I didn't have. I'm now an old guy, and I can't fix the way it is. So my task to you and my responsibility is to help them answer these many challenges that we can't clearly define yet. Because I think everybody would agree that our planet is completely out of balance, gets worse every single day. You have quite the task ahead of you. We've talked about the way they treat people, what they say. To remember this night when you want to become cynical and hateful and hate everything around you, or when things are going wrong, you don't get what you had hoped for, whatever it might be. There's going to be that period of time. It's with every profession, not just ours. The challenge is, how do we recognize it, and as an agency, how do we care for them? And I assure you, until my last breath and my last day, they matter to me. And we will do everything within our power to help them, to train them, to equip them, to keep them. And that includes each and every one of you as family members. So much has happened over the course of these last couple of years. But as Colonel French reminds me, we're going to be okay. We are going to be okay. I just don't quite know when, but we will. Please remember the conversation we had yesterday. That was the first time that's probably ever happened. And for those that aren't aware, because there's a small number, Colonel French and I welcomed them into our staff room yesterday, and we sat down and we just had kind of a discussion about life, about the purpose of discipline, about the purpose of finding balance and faith and all of those things that are a part of your life, finding out what makes them tick. Why are they here? What are our expectations? Understand that there's going to be people that aren't going to agree with them, and they're not going to agree. And that list can go on and on and on. It was a remarkable hour for me. And I really, really appreciated your ability to just speak about it, to speak about your experience and to speak about what you've done and why you're here. I was fascinated, and I'm so grateful that you took the time and opened up to both of us. I hope that we can continue to do that into the future. Remember the why of not only what you do, but how you do it. Because you're not any longer going to be representing just yourself. You're going to be representing something much larger than yourself. People that have died wearing this very uniform. Please remember. Please, please, please remember. And finally, I'll say, and he hates it when I do this, but this guy right here, Colonel Mark French, continues to keep me balanced. And yesterday, during that period of time, he said something I am never, ever, ever, ever in my lifetime going to forget. Read the room. That was brand new to me yesterday. It's so applicable to everything that we do. And it's not just about a tactical approach to what you've already been trained to do. It's about reading those people you're interacting with, your moms and your dads and your significant others and your kids and your neighbors and the people that might want to cause harm to you in the middle of the night where no one else is coming. It's amazing what happens when you read the room and you're respectful, you're courteous, you're strong. You're that quiet professional that he talked about on your first day. I'm never going to forget those 3 words, and I think they're probably applicable to all of us. I've found many ways in which they're applicable to my life, which seems very, very, very complicated. But I'm lucky. I'm lucky. So, with all that being said, a sincere words of gratitude, of thanks, congratulations, and to everybody else, thank you for taking the time to be here. I wish you all the very, very, very best and a most Merry Christmas.
Thank you, sir. At this time, the oath of office for the 83rd recruit class will be administered by the Honorable Christopher M. Goff. Christopher Goff was appointed to the Indiana Supreme Court by Governor Eric Holcomb in June 2017. He took the oath of office as Indiana's 110th Justice on July 24, 2017. Justice Goff was born in Wabash, Indiana in 1972. After graduating from high school there, he attended Ball State University, graduating summa cum laude in 1994, and then earned his law degree at the Indiana University Muir School of Law in 1996. Before joining the Indiana Supreme Court, he served as Wabash County Superior Court judge for 12 years. During his service on the trial bench, he established the Wabash County Drug Court and the Wabash County Family Drug Treatment Court. Justice Goff and his wife, Raquel, have 4 children and 3 grandchildren. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the Honorable Justice Goff.
Academy, on your feet.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
To promote, protect, and defend. The Constitution and laws of the United States of America.
The Constitution and laws of the United States of America.
And the state of Indiana.
And the state of Indiana.
Against all enemies, foreign or domestic.
Against all enemies, foreign or domestic.
And that I will faithfully and justly discharge. The law enforcement duties entrusted to me.
The law enforcement duties entrusted to me.
By the Indiana State Police.
By the Indiana State Police.
In a manner that provides. The most professional. Effective. And courteous police service possible. At all times. And with every endeavor. According to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations.
I would now like to invite Major Dana Harshman, the Training Division Commander, to give a few remarks and begin the introductions of the Academy staff.
Good afternoon, and again, welcome. Today, my job is to thank all of those that have worked so hard to get these recruits to graduation day. First, I would like to thank Superintendent Carter and his staff who have been so supportive and helpful throughout this journey. A thank you to every instructor who taught at the Academy. I greatly appreciate the dozens of instructors from across the state, many of whom are here tonight, who have provided guidance and instruction while often being away from their home and loved ones for extended periods of time. These instructors worked countless hours out in the rain and the weather to ensure these recruits receive the best possible training to prepare them for the field. A thank you goes to their commanders, who have their own responsibilities to the communities that they serve throughout the state, but still manage to allow their personnel to come to the Academy and teach these young recruits. A special thank you to the Training Division staff and counselors. Their dedication and passion for what they do never ceases to amaze me. Thank you today also goes to the families of the 83rd Recruit Academy. While you recruits were learning criminal law, how to shoot, how to fight, and how to drive, your family was at home carrying on the burden of keeping the home front working. They were the ones providing support to your loved ones, taking care of the sick kids, dealing with the cars that won't start, as life did not stop for them while you were away these last 23 weeks. They were the ones encouraging you daily during your nightly phone calls not to give up, only to hang up the phone and turn on the news to see the world that awaits you. So to the families of the 83rd Recruit School, thank you and welcome to the ISP family. In regards to today's society, a much-deserved thank you goes to the recruits of the 83rd Academy. In a time where policing is under such scrutiny, you chose freely to commit to this profession and make the sacrifices necessary to be a part of something important. It gives me great hope in our future to know that people like you are willing to take on that challenge, willing to go places most people run from, and willing to provide a service that is so desperately needed now more than ever. So thank you to the recruits of the 83rd Academy for stepping up and being willing to serve. As we begin introductions to the Recruit Academy staff, I first want to recognize Captain Michael Dennison, the Assistant Commander of the Training Division. Among his many duties, Captain Dennison has direct oversight of the Recruit Academy. There is nothing about the Recruit Academy in which he is not intimately involved. His leadership and management of our training program is truly remarkable. My last thank you goes to the glue that holds this whole recruit school together and who shoulders the bulk of the responsibility, Lieutenant Tom Hannon. And Lieutenant Hannon is a 38-year veteran of the Indiana State Police, having graduated from the 43rd Recruit School in 1985. He was assigned to the Terre Haute post, where he worked in various positions for most of his career, including a trooper on the road, a member of the Tactical Intervention Platoon, an original member of the Clandestine Laboratory Investigation Team. He's also served as a high-performance vehicle trooper, a canine trooper. He was a field training officer. He was also a member for several years to the ISP SWAT team. He's an instructor in firearms, control tactics, TACMED, radar, emergency vehicle operation, and he was promoted to leadership roles at the district, serving as a corporal and a sergeant supervising a squad of young troopers. In 2015, he was promoted to his current position as the recruit school commander. His experience and vast knowledge of so many areas of police work make him uniquely qualified to lead our academy. It is with great pride and admiration that I introduce again our recruit school commander, Lieutenant Tom Hannon.
I would like to take this opportunity to recognize my staff, but before I do that, I would also like to thank a lot of people tonight. I'm going to start with Director Horty. He is the gentleman that runs the facility that we do our training at, and that's where we make new troopers. So without him and the facility that we get to use there, it would be a little hard to train these ladies and gentlemen. The other people I'd like to thank is everybody on our department. What a lot of you don't realize is that there is not a component on the Indiana State Police Department, from Superintendent Carter to our civilian employees, that don't touch the Indiana State Police Academy. It starts with the HR and the HR division and all the people that do the recruiting and then the hiring process and selecting these individuals. It goes to the laboratory division and doing some of the stuff that they do for us with polygraphs and some of the testing they do and the training that we get. The investigation division, logistics that sizes them and gets them their uniforms and ultimately are going to build their cars. It goes from one end of the spectrum to the other. Our district commanders that send me individuals to help train them. And that's, if you'll look around back here, you'll see all of the uniforms. These are all people that have had some type of process or being a part of the process in training your loved ones. So a round of applause for all of them. Again, as always, I'd like to thank my command staff, my immediate supervisors, Captain Dennison and Major Harshman in the training division. Lieutenant Colonel Bilkey is also who I fall under, and then Colonel French and Superintendent Carter. Again, without those 5 individuals supporting me and what I need to be able to have and do to be able to train your loved ones, it would be just absolutely impossible. So again, I thank them as well. So with that, now I will introduce my staff. My Assistant Commander, Sergeant Brent Cox. My Staff Sergeant, Sergeant Nicole Cheeks. Squad A Counselor is Master Trooper Tyler Vaness. Master Trooper Vaness is not here with us tonight. He was injured in training at the academy and required some surgery and is not back to work yet. Next would be my Squad B counselor, Senior Trooper Tyler Bentledge. My next staff member is Squad C counselor, Trooper Trent Jones. However, Trooper Jones was just promoted a couple of days ago, and he is now Sergeant Jones. And last but not least, Squad D counselor, Trooper Sam Redino. These individuals volunteered and participated in a selection process to be considered as counselors for the Academy class. A little bit of information about them. These 6 individuals, between them, have the following credentials: 3 college degrees, 9 instructor certifications in 5 different disciplines, and they have completed a numerous amount of hours in specialized schools and training provided by the Indiana State Police Department. Also, one of them has served in the U.S. Air Force prior to becoming a state trooper. Together, they have served with the Indiana State Police Department for a total of 52 years. The recruits will tell you that these counselors demanded nothing but the best out of them at all time. The life that we try to transform from where they're a civilian going to the sword world is a difficult road, and without these individuals to help them along the way, it would be also impossible. So let's thank them for their efforts as well. It is now time to present members of the 83rd recruit class with their Indiana State Police badges, their officer IDs, their oath of office certification, and their law enforcement training board certification. Anyone in the audience who would like to take photographs at this time may do so, but please do not block the procession of probationary troopers as they go and return from the stage. Also, if I could ask you to all to hold your applause until we're done, and then we'll recognize them at the end of the reading of their names.
Roll one. On your feet. Right. Next. Forward. March.
Corey M. Bell, Pendleton District. Austin M. Collins, Jasper District. Gage A. Cummings, Evansville District. Caroline A. Harding, Bloomington District. Azariah S. Keith, Indianapolis District. Blake O. Kugler, Fort Wayne District. Robert M. Kuhn, Indianapolis District. Braden W. Lyons, Indianapolis District. Tyler M. Pennington, Toll Road District. Jared C. Sheets, Peru District. Austin D. Thoman, Lafayette District. His badge is being presented tonight by his wife, Trooper Elena Thoman. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would please join me in a round of applause recognizing the 83rd Indiana State Police Recruit Class. Superintendent Carter will now present the Firearms Proficiency Award to the top marksman of the class and the Superintendent's Award to the top recruit in the class. The Firearms Proficiency Award is awarded to the recruit who shoots the highest average score during firearms qualification. This average is based on 3 consecutive handgun qualification courses, 3 consecutive patrol rifle qualification courses, and the written final exam. The recipient of this award scored a 99.35% average with both handgun and a 100% average with their patrol rifle and scored an 82% on the written firearms final exam. The recipient of the 83rd Recruit Academy Firearms Proficiency Award is Probationary Trooper Azariah Keith. The Superintendent's Award is presented to the recruit who during the academy stood out in all aspects of the training. This recruit was in the top percentile in the following categories: academics, firearms, defensive tactics, emergency vehicle operations, report writing, TAC-Med, and leadership abilities. In fact, this recruit was voted by their peers on 2 separate occasions in the top percentile of their class. What I can tell you is he never finished number 1 in anything. He finished number 2 and 3 in everything. He was just solid from day 1 to where we're at. Based on their overall performance, this individual was voted by the Academy staff and placed in charge of the squad as the platoon leader. The recipient of the 83rd Recruit Academy Superintendent's Award is presented to Probationary Trooper Austin M. Collins. I would now ask Probationary Trooper Caroline Harding to approach the podium for comments from the 83rd Recruit Academy class.
On Sunday, July 10th, 23 individuals pulled into the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy parking lot with no knowledge of what they were remotely getting themselves into. Not a single soul knew of what journey we would be partaking in as we lined up in front of our vehicles with our registrations in hand. Some of us talked about what we saw online from what was coined as Blue Sunday, but no YouTube videos would prepare us for the long day ahead. Academy staff marched out to our vehicles in formation and took no time to notice every tiny deficiency and shortcoming with how we had dressed and the way we had presented our vehicles. The screaming and the barrage of questions had shaken every one of us to our very core, paired with consistently running in and out of formation for various tasks. Valuable lessons were given immediately upon entering the academy. The importance of paying attention to the smallest of detail, grabbing all of your belongings, making sure to keep your Jeep keys on you as you ran, keeping a pen and paper on you at all times, and knowing basic math. Looking back now, it was a wonder how we knew how to put one foot in front of the other that day. But all of this had a point, and it quickly became instilled in all of us that none of us were aware of the world we were getting into. That long, long Sunday ended with us learning how to make a bed. Making a bed every morning, cleaning our rooms, and going through a uniform inspection was something we did every single day, and we never passed any of them. But it seemed to only drive us forward into trying harder and harder on the next round of inspections. We could never get the process entirely perfect, but we continued to fight on and take a step forward in progressing every time. The focus of these simple tasks seemed to bleed into every task we would accomplish, and we truly began to notice the little details all around us. The need to notice the lint on our beds became the ability to notice the handle of a gun in a vehicle on a traffic stop. And it wouldn't be until a few weeks into the academy where I heard Sergeant Cox say, "How you do one thing is how you do everything." Lieutenant Hannon echoed this sentiment to us as little as we understood in those first few weeks. He made it clear to us that everything that was done in the academy had a purpose. Our first large hurdle was the 2-on-1 hitman, where we would have to fight with two of our defensive tactics instructors in a controlled environment. I recall the expressions on recruits' faces before entering our mat room, the clear looks of nervousness and uncertainty, and each of us quietly contemplating our life choices. Upon entering that room, we all faced the most chaotic 7 to 9 minutes of our lives. Beaten and bruised, I distinctly remember the howls and cheers we would make upon another recruit walking out of that gym, successfully surviving the gauntlet. We would all talk about being one step closer as if we were all days from graduation, but little did we recognize that we were only in week 3. We would have to come together again in the following weeks, licking our wounds from 2-on-1 and going into a collegiate course of criminal law over the course of 3 weeks and over 80 hours of information. Academically, we are pushed to our limits, with countless meetings and testing each other with note cards. Our fortitude was also tested by going right into traffic law, a whole new set of laws and functions to understand within a single week. 12 of us remained after our breakouts, consisting of several weeks of vigorous training regarding emergency vehicle operation, defensive tactics, firearms, tactical medical training, getting OC sprayed, fighting one of our defensive tactics instructors in a one-on-one encounter, and experience and exposure to the Taser 7. We were finally in the stages of BCOP, which stands for Basic Concepts of Policing, where we received several weeks of reality-based scenarios to prepare us for the challenges ahead. The 6 weeks of these scenarios led us into the quickening at Muscatatuck, where we really got to put what we had learned over the 21 weeks to test. At the end of our journey of the quickening, we finally got to take those steps up to Superintendent Carter and Colonel French to receive our ISP pins, a moment we all had worked so hard for. There are people who need to be recognized, who had given nothing but a complete and total commitment to supporting us in our journey, and who have suffered these past 6 months as the ones they have loved chased their dreams from what felt like 1,000 miles away. And these people would be our families. Whether it be waiting by the phone for that 5 p.m. call every day, or having composure and patience as we walk through the front door, tired and deflated from long weeks. Know that we've never taken you for granted, and we've all told stories and have sung your praises amongst ourselves almost every day. With the absolute highest of sincerity in our hearts, thank you. We wouldn't have ever come close to accomplishing what we have without you in our corner. We also need to thank the Academy staff and those who have taken upon themselves the impossible task of teaching those who know nothing about the dangerous world that they've been in for years and training us to be successful in this field. There is a saintly amount of patience needed to watch us fail, attempt to talk us through what we had gone wrong, pick us up, and watch us not quite hit the mark again, but do a little bit better each time. While we don't get to see behind the curtains of what our counselors or instructors must go through, we aren't naive to the absolute care and patience that they have exercised in training us to be successful. Do the right things at the right time for the right reasons. This was said to us many times by Lieutenant Hannon, and we will all proudly follow this. Out of the 23, 11 of us endured, developed, and grew through the toil and sharpening of not only our character into Indiana State Police troopers, but also in our discipline, loyalty, integrity, and love for the communities we stand to serve.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the benediction given by Chaplain Coffey and remain standing for the retirement of the colors as well as the dismissal of the 83rd Recruit Academy class. Photographs of probationary troopers with their family and friends can be taken behind the stage curtain after the official 83rd class photograph, which will be taken in front of the stage after pinning. Please be careful driving as you make your way either to your hotel room or home tonight. Thank you for attending tonight's ceremony and welcoming our new probationary troopers into the Indiana State Police family. If you've parked in either Senate Avenue parking garage or Washington parking garage, please see Anna Clevenger, who raised her hand over here, if you have a parking stub if you want to get out of your garage. All right. Chaplain Coffey.
Outstanding, sir. Thank you. I invite you to assume an attitude of prayer. As we now depart from this heartwarming and inspirational event, proceeding to our respective areas of service, O Lord, we are encouraged by your ancient words of promise. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen.
Officers, red set, out! Ready? Run. Officers, order, march! Academy, right, face! Forward, march! Detail, forward, march! Left, 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 right, left, 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 right, left. 1, 2, 3.